Call Alba, Walla, Basham, Yasha, Basham, Kakadash. Kabbalahs to the apostles and elders of great millstone that rule and teach well. Peace and salutations to the brothers on the four corners of this earth, pushing this within truth also in sincerity and Brahmanatazak. Yeah, with another short video, you know, or I posted this video in our group chat, and you will see what's going on about the communist news, you know what I mean? And we got some precepts to back it up because it's also prophecy.
We have new developments at this hour following the DOJ's announcement of an indictment against Raul Castro. The indictment includes 7 charges against the former Cuban president, among them murder charges for the 1996 Brothers to the Rescue shootdown. We're now learning the U.S. is ramping up military assets in the region and that a longtime ally of Cuba is pledging to support them amid growing U.S. pressure.
And local 10's Janine Stanwood is joining us live right now in the newsroom with the very latest details on all of this. Janine.
So many developments following the indictment of Raul Castro. We are now learning a new U.S. aircraft carrier is moving into the Caribbean among more U.S. pressure against the Cuban government. U.S. Southern Command posting this video of the Nimitz carrier strike group on X this Wednesday. Around the same time, murder charges against Raul Castro were announced. The State Department previously reported the USS Nimitz was in Rio de Janeiro to perform, quote, joint naval exercises with the Brazilian Navy 2 weeks ago before moving it into the Caribbean. Today, the New York Times was the first to report that the strike group will stay in the Caribbean for at least a few days as part of the Trump administration's pressure on the Cuban regime to change their government system or face possible military action. President Trump is in the Oval Office deflecting the idea that the carrier will be used in an operation against Cuba, although at the same time hinted at doing something no other U.S. president has done with the island.
No, not at all. The Cuba, look, it's a failed country. Everybody knows it. Other presidents have looked at this for 50, 60 years doing something, and it looks like I'll be the one that does it.
Also today, Russia has pledged to help Cuba amid this week's developments against Raul Castro. Moscow saying that it will provide active support to the Cuban government despite moves by the U.S. to, quote, tighten the noose of sanctions around the communist island. They also refuted claims that Cuba has access to 300 new military drones, first published in an exclusive report by Axios over the weekend. Secretary of State Marco Rubio asked by reporters today in Homestead before leaving for a NATO meeting in Sweden, how does exactly the U.S. plan to get Castro now that he's been indicted? And is this the gateway for regime change in Cuba?
Well, I'm not going to talk about how we're going to get him here. If we were trying to get him here, why would I say to the media what our plans are about that? Our preference in Cuba is negotiated diplomatic settlement, okay? And that's what I would say to you. That's always our preference. To answer your question, if there's a threat to the national security of the United States, the president not just has the right, he has the obligation to address that national security threat.
Right now, the Supreme Court is also making some new rulings related to Cuba. SCOTUE is now permitting lawsuits over U.S. assets seized by the Cuban government in 1960 following the Cuban Revolution. The High Court also reviving a damages lawsuit against cruise ship companies that have previously docked on the island and have done business with the communist government. This could be a big loss, Christy and Janice, for some big companies.
Yeah. All right, so many developments happening. All right, thanks so much.
All right, so you have it there. You know what I mean? Straight from the horse's mouth. This though, but none of these stories here, well, that whole news clipping, right? That just don't happen to sound familiar. That don't happen to sound familiar, boy. I went to Venezuela last year, around Christmas time. This is Habakkuk 2 and 5. It's a year also because he transgressed by wine. He is a proud man, neither keep it at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, like him, and cannot be satisfied, but gathered unto him all nations, and heaped unto him all people. Right? Like, so he doing, he can't keep at home. He some weeks ago, he said, you know what, maybe when we coming back, when this thing in Iran is over, I'll send one of the warships up Cuba and look what going on. Look what going on. I mean, that clipping wasn't from today. That was earlier from earlier this week. Either Monday, Tuesday, somewhere up there. All right. So yeah, look at what happened this week. He did what he was going to say because yeah, proud man. Yeah, proud man. They have something there that they want. Obviously, whatever it is. Similarly to the Venezuelan conflict, Russia was backing them. All right. Look, Russia stepped in again to say, hey, we support Cuba, we stand with Cuba. All right. So let we see where this skirmish or this conflict or this tensions will go now. All right. But let we see where it go end up. Because all they doing is going around creating wars. You know what the man said? The things presidents are doing 60 years, it look like I got to do it. That's what he said. You know what I mean? His words, not mine. All right. Go to the book of Revelation 12 and 12. It says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that ye had but a short time. Yeah, that is it. You know you have a short time, buddy. You know what I mean? So you see the devil, he trying to, as I've said countless times before, he trying to do things that he ain't do, or that he forget to do, so to speak. You know what I mean? He tried to bring forth the agenda in record speed in a record time. Alright, so you find that things he doing out of whack. Like, why he choosing violence so much? Nah, he have to. You realize the shortness of his timeline. You know what I mean? The time he was given to rule is about to be up. You know? And he's still trying to attempt to extend it. How unfortunate. Alright, I'm gonna precept here. Alright? Let's bear with me. I'm rolling off vague memory right now. Hold 1 minute. Yeah, so like about that. I'm not sure if there's you wanna looking for it, but I will use it as well, right? There's Job 20 and verse 12. It says, though wickedness be sweet in his mouth, though he hide it under his tongue. You see, he's saying, as the son is he trying to deflect. When he asks what they gonna do there, right? Why the son worships him. Though he spare it and forsake it not, but keep it still within his mouth. Yeah, he have forsake it. You know what I mean? Because he still sent troops there. You know what I mean? Down to the minister of defense say, hey, we go look for to try to negotiate, but we know that they ain't gonna negotiate fucking nothing. Let's be real, so we know it. Yet his meat is in his bowels is turned, it is a gall of asps within him. He hath swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up. Again, power shall cast them out of his belly. He shall suck the poison of asp. The viper's tongue shall slay him. He shall not see the rivers, the floods, the brooks of honey and butter. That which he labored for shall he restore, and shall not swallow it down. According to his substance shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein, because he had oppressed and had forsaken the poor, because he had violently taken away an house which he builded not. You understand? Who this talking about? Isn't that what they're doing? You know what I mean? Look what they did to Venezuela. Went in, arrest the president, send him to jail, pay him on charges, and take all the oil. You know what I mean? And tell the people there, or they will get a portion of the money. Up to now, as far as I know, nobody in Venezuela got a dime. The situation just growing worse and worse down there, or across there rather. So what they trying to, what they really trying to do with Cuba? But the people, the field people, I mean, he's so I've always so complacent, so docile, so you can afford to move like there is no consequence for his actions. But yo, Basha, me, shy, I go forget him. Isaiah 19 and 14, it says, Yahweh had mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work. Therefore, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit, in every work thereof, Salakia, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. Yeah, you know what I mean? Just how a drunk man will stagger in his vomit. Everything he do off, it have no real reasoning to behind it. Is greed, pride, you know what I mean? These things, no justification, no righteous judgment, early and truly. Nothing, it's just greed. Trying to accumulate. Not knowing, as it's in the book of James, you have stored up treasures for the last days. You know? And that is exactly what went on. You know what I mean? Me read verse 16. Well, 15 and 16, it said, Neither shall there be any work for Egypt which head or tail, branch or rush may do. In that day shall Egypt be like unto woman, and it shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of Yahweh of hosts, which he shaketh over it. Yeah. In that day, all the nukes, all the money, all the digital systems, CBDC, MOTB, whatever fucking other abbreviation they have, the day Yahweh Shai pays the clouds. The scripture say, just roughly paraphrasing, they were afraid but does still fight. You know what I mean? They'll be afraid, you know. But the pride in them will cause them to still fight. And they will be destroyed. Alright? So, hey, and the video was edifying up as part of food for thought within the Akiam watching and listening. Please put on power of your Basham Yoshai Basham Kakadash. Until next time, Shalom.